Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of Have You Seen Sandy? I'm your host, Sandy Thompson with the City of Pittsburgh. In today's episode, we're exploring a cornerstone of our community, the Camp County Courthouse. But first, a shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Big Al's Barefoot Bay Resort and Marina, where it's always a great day. Then we will journey through the fascinating history and architecture of this historic building, from its humble beginnings to its current role as a vibrant hub of our community. The courthouse tells the story of Camp County and its people. So buckle up and let's dive into the past.
Good morning, Sandy.
Hey, good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, thank you so much for giving me a tour of the courthouse today. I'm super excited to walk around and hear about the Camp County Courthouse's history, about its architecture, and hear maybe some fun stories of the past.
Sure, hopefully so, and thanks so much for the opportunity for us to share something about the People's Courthouse.
All right, well, let's do it. You ready?
Ready.
All right. Tell me a little bit about the building here. So the architecture style, how old is this building? And
Sure, so the courthouse was built in 1928, so we're 3 years short of 100 years old. The architectural styling is classic revival. So as you can see, the columns on this is the east portico, and there's a matching one on the south side. Has a basement and 3 floors, approximately 18,000 square feet. It's still a functioning and operating courthouse. It hadn't turned into a museum like many have around the state. So it still houses our county court, our district court, and it's the seat of the county government here, the commissioner's court.
right.
It was designed by Smith and Prager architects in Paris, Texas. But of substantial note, there was a local architect named Charles Chappell, who is an associate architect on this project and had a big input on the design of this. He lived here in Pittsburgh, and I'm told, and my understanding is that he was a pretty big contributor of the layout in the early 1900s of Pittsburgh and a number of the buildings.
So now we're in the courtroom, right?
That's correct. So this
Okay.
is the district courtroom on the second floor of the courthouse, and it's the biggest single room in the courthouse. This is where felony cases occur, anything that would be in district court. And so this being our biggest room, there's a few things that are, one little story about this. So these light fixtures, those glass globes from 1928, just a few years ago, there was only one of those that would still survive. It took us about 2 years. We went through a lot of stuff, went to an antique lighting company in St. Louis, Missouri. Those ended up being made in Belgium. There was 2 places in the world
Really?
that makes those now. These are all the replicas, but they are glass of the original style. And so that's a thing that's really tough. That's a challenge in a nearly 100-year-old building, that there's things that you can't just easily replace. I mentioned earlier 1928, when this was built, you have to think in that time frame what society was like. And so that was during segregation. And so this courthouse, if you know where to look, we can see where the plumbing was for the segregated water fountains out in the hallways. But also up here, it's now a mechanical room, and it's just walled up, and inside there's air conditioning units. But until the mid-'80s, that was the balcony.
The balcony.
And in segregation, that was where the separate seating was. And so, but like I said, in the mid-'80s, turned it into mechanical room for central heat and air.
Okay. Well, okay, so now we're in the county courtroom.
That's correct.
Okay, so what happens here in the county courtroom?
So the courthouse being the seat of the county government, the commissioner's court is that governing body. And this is where the commissioner's court meets. We meet every other Wednesday and just conduct the business of the county. Also in this courtroom, you'll notice it's smaller than the one that was upstairs. And this is where misdemeanor cases, this is where I'll hear misdemeanor cases, criminal cases. Sometimes some probate is in here. And so that's mainly what goes on in this courtroom. In addition to housing these courts, you've got the clerks for each of those courts. So the county clerk and the district clerk. And when you think about what a courthouse means to a county, in a lot of ways, the courthouse records our lives
Right.
as we go through our lives. In either the county or the district clerk's office, everything from birth certificates to, as we go through life, we may serve in the military. And our military papers are often filed in the course with the clerk. If we buy houses, buy land, all of those records are maintained here. If we get a divorce, those records are maintained here, all the way through death. So if you think about, a courthouse houses that story of a person's life as they go through, as life happens.
Yeah. There's a beautiful Veterans Memorial outside, and I know we have services there a couple of times a year to commemorate that. And
that's right. I believe that was built in about 2012, and it's a wonderful monument for veterans of Camp County that have served. And so you're right, at least a couple times a year there are ceremonies held there, typically Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and we're really glad to be able to have them. It kind of sets a stage for other events, but certainly those.
Well, Judge, thank you so much for the tour. I learned so much, and this was super exciting for me to come in and see inside the building and hear the history and how it came to be and what all happens here. So,
well, it's great to have you. We appreciate you coming.
It's my pleasure. Well, thank you again for having me. Well, there you have it, a glimpse into our rich history and architectural beauty of the Camp County Courthouse. And thank you to Judge A.J. Mason for sharing these incredible stories and giving us this little tour today. So for more information about the Camp County Courthouse, go to our Visit Pittsburgh website. And if you've enjoyed this journey through our history, be sure to join us for more episodes of Have You Seen Sandy by following our City of Pittsburgh YouTube channel. And one last shout out to our sponsor, Big Al's Barefoot Bay Resort and Marina. Until next time, keep exploring, learning, and enjoying the great legacy of Pittsburgh, Texas.